According to a new report, members of the Trump transition team are currently doing some research on how they can prosecute generals in the United States military. So they may charge people with treason over the admittedly clumsy withdrawal from Afghanistan. Treason is a word that these idiots throw around like it's a football. Anybody they don't like treason, here's where it gets kind of funny. The decision to withdraw from Afghanistan came from President Joe Biden. And therefore, as the commander-in-chief of the armed forces, he gives the order. It is actually a requirement that those military leaders follow the order. Here's where it gets even funnier. I don't know if you remember this, but over the summer, the United States Supreme Court, with a 6-3 Republican majority, actually handed down a decision telling us that presidents have immunity for official acts. And here's the kicker. That presidential immunity actually extends to the entire executive branch. So when the president of the United States is giving direct military orders and those individuals follow those direct military orders, do you know what also protects them? Yeah, I figured you could put it together. Presidential immunity. Presidential immunity. In fact, a lot of the people you guys have been talking about wanting to prosecute are all protected from that same presidential immunity that you took to the Supreme Court that is now protecting them. Whoopsie-doo.
So friends, what do we know about Donald Trump's many criminal cases? Well, we know that his 2 federal prosecutions are reportedly winding down. Donald Trump's Georgia State RICO prosecution, we know, is stuck in the appellate courts at the moment. The sentencing in Donald Trump's criminal case in New York on 34 felony guilty verdicts is on hold, at least for the moment. We'll learn more come December 9th. The many civil suits that have been brought against him are up and running, alive and kicking. So friends, those civil cases should just keep on keeping on right through Donald Trump's presidency, because he has no presidential immunity in connection with those civil cases.
Welcome, everybody. Hope you had a good weekend. Something is very wrong with Donald Trump's transition. Trump is refusing to disclose who is actually funding this transition to begin with. We also don't have any idea who is donating money, funding the transition, and thus it makes it more difficult to even know where to look for the corruption, nepotism, quid pro quos. You scratch my back, I scratch yours. There is no legal requirement, legal requirement with regard to how any of this is ultimately going to be handled. Without disclosing donors, we also would be worried about foreign influence. Obviously, the name of the game is hiding that, obscuring that, making it difficult for people to know who you even owe the favors to. Trump team still hasn't signed the transition documents. In the absence of signed MOUs, the current government cannot begin the process of providing briefings or security clearances for incoming officials. Crucially, the FBI also remains unable to conduct any background checks on Trump's prospective cabinet. Donald Trump is nominating to his cabinet some problematic people. Problematic for national security, certainly problematic in terms of will they do anything to help the average American person. What we're seeing just with the transition is already a sort of red alert, what the hell is going on here moment.
Joe Scarborough and Mika Brzezinski, who went on bended knee and without shame to interview Trump post-election and humiliated themselves in the process. Joe and Mika provided a vivid example of obeying in advance. They did exactly what Timothy Snyder warned about in his book On Tyranny. Do not obey in advance. Most of the power of authoritarianism is freely given. In times like these, individuals think ahead about what a more repressive government will want and then offer themselves without being asked. A citizen who adapts in this way is teaching power what it can do. Rachel Maddow is a progressive media warrior, like Stephanie Miller and Randy Rhodes, 2 women who were forced out of major media markets by Sinclair Media Group. Rachel Maddow goes out over the airwaves daily and delivers progressive political analysis. Rachel Maddow is fearless in bringing all of her critical ability, her political acumen, and her articulate intellectual style to unashamedly push the progressive point of view out into the media ecosystem, out into public discourse. And just recently, Rachel went beyond the US and into Great Britain to tell it like it is. I'm going to show the clip of Rachel Maddow on Sky News program The World with Richard Engel and Yalda Hakim. But first, why did they want Rachel Maddow to begin with? Engel and Hakim's show wanted someone to speak about what to expect from Trump 2.0, and they wanted someone who would speak with courage and without restraint. They know the American media has been sane-washing Trump throughout the campaign, and they wanted the truth instead. They wanted someone fearless. Rachel Maddow went on The World because she's just the opposite. As opposed to fealty, Maddow consistently defies immoral authority. Before I show her giving a stark warning about what's to come, watch her courageously try revealing to the world the breaking news that the Trump administration is removing children from their parents at the border and locking them up in Texas.
The AP has just broken some new news. This has just come out from the Associated Press. This is incredible. Trump administration officials have been sending babies and other young children. Oh, hold on. To at least three. Can we put up a graphic of this? Thank you. Do we have it? No. 3 tender age shelters in South Texas.
The news she was just handed was so immoral, so depraved, she couldn't even deliver it, but she tried. She refused to back down. So now, watch her give an unvarnished assessment of what Trump 2.0 is going to be like.
I expect that it will be mass deportations. It will be millions of people in camps managed by the U.S. military. I expect it will be military raids in civilian areas to try to take on this extreme anti-immigrant agenda, which I think he means every word of. I think that it's the end of American participation in NATO in any meaningful sense. I think it's really, really bad news for Ukraine. I think ultimately it's bad news for Taiwan. I think that it is a big, big leap toward the multipolar world that Vladimir Putin has been dreaming of and preaching for a long time. And I think internally in the United States, they will start arresting their enemies and bringing bogus prosecutions and Justice Department civil lawsuits against everybody who disagrees with them. I think all of that's going to happen.
Oh my God, you're anticipating the end of America as people know it.